sunk an enemy destroyer.
Hey there, team. This is Ripper. You guys are doing fantastic today. Finally got the Gdansk, my now new favorite destroyer in all of World of Warships, and I'll basically have these 3 videos here to explain why. But before we begin, like, subscribe, bell button below. We just passed 1,300 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for all the support and the help and the great community. We're going to 2,000 subscribers, our goal for our premium destroyer giveaway. So that'll be our first, but let's get right to it. What is the initial strategy of this game right here? We initially, again, this is the first game I'm trying on the Gdansk, is ranked. I heard a lot of good things about ranked. Very, very powerful destroyer for ranked, and you can see why in a bit. But initial strategy we're going to do right here is go ahead and support our Summers. We're going to go ahead and follow him into Alpha Cap. So 2 destroyers pushing Alpha. I like doing this strategy because it gives a better angles and better escape. So we'll push Alpha, and then the rest of our team will follow suit, while the 2 northernmost cruiser and battleship will go and guard Charlie. But let's get right to it and talk about the Gdansk. And what is it? It's a European tech tree line. So again, everybody, you are able to grind this out. Just play the game. You can grind it from Tier 8, Tier 9, Tier 10. I don't like the Tier 8, Tier 9. I'll explain that maybe in some other videos. But honestly, I played them. I don't like them. The Las Sonis or something. El Cantonis, which is the Tier 9, basically the ship before this. I played it for a little bit. I did not enjoy it, but the Gdansk, way different game changer. And I'll explain throughout the video why I like it and some of the things I don't like it, and some of the strategies and techniques that really make the Gdansk a super powerful destroyer for World of Warships right now. So the biggest thing right now is the guns. The guns are 139 millimeters, so you got pretty much very big caliber guns. They penetrate a lot of decent armor. I believe it's, let me look up the stats here. It is, I believe, 23 millimeter pen. Hold on. It is it has a good Sigma 2.0. The DPM is 227,000, which is pretty phenomenal. Penetration is 23 millimeters. So those are pretty significant guns. Now look, we open up on the Smolen here. We had 2 Smolens in this game, which I was kind of worried about because Smolen was my previous favorite ship. But now that I've seen how the Gdansk plays, watch the firepower that I get. And whoa, boom, splash 1 RP back to port. Devastating first blood. I did not expect that. But you know what? We got a second Smolen we can practice on after we dev struck the first one. You can see the torpedoes were just 10 kilometers, kind of basic European light hitting torpedoes, but when you get a whole set of them on a destroyer, that's the effect you get. Now look at the arc angles. I love the arc angles. The small one doesn't really get this kind of arc angles. You can see that the arcs are very, very good. Good Sigma, good, and these are big guns. Very good trajectory and very good speed. The flight time is 840 millimeters per second. 840 is not as fast as, say, like the Soviet line, which you're getting up to 900 to 1,000. This is still decent with lower arc angles. It makes aiming a little bit easier. As you can see, I'm getting, as he's cutting away, and look at it, as I'm getting those 7 penetration hits right there, you see the tick marker, you're getting a lot of good damage and a lot of good alpha that really helps turn the tide of the battle. And we got 4 sets of guns. Unfortunately, the back gun is only a single turret. But the other cool thing I like about it, the first 3 guns up front are 360 traverse kind of. I'm sorry, the third gun, number 3 gun behind the torpedoes is a 360 traverse gun. I'm not sure if the the front 2 guns are. I'll have to double check that, but I like the fact that the back gun is a 360 turret because it allows me to have those awesome abilities. I don't have to wait for it to do the 360 turn time to turn back around. It allows me to keep nose into the target, always keeping my guns ready to bear, ready to fire, and I like having that option there available, and it's really, really cool. I didn't notice that until later I played it, that the number 3 turret gun is a 360 turret gun, which is really, really awesome for you trying to be aggressive and nose in. Now you can see, look at the firepower we're putting on the Schlieffen here. You know, Schlieffen's one of the most deadly ranked battleships that I've seen in here because of all the secondaries, and they're super accurate lately. Man, I love it. I love the fact they're accurate. I've been asking for accurate secondaries, but man, they are devastating if you're a destroyer nowadays. Torpedoes are coming in here. We're going to see if we can hit the engine boost, get out. Again, this comes with a 1 minute, 30-second engine boost, which, man, it gets this thing up really fast. I mean, you can get up to the 47 knot range, which is good. I mean, and by itself, it's already getting 40-plus knots without engine boost, but with that extra, man, it gives you some nice speed that you can get going. Now that we've killed everybody on the alpha side, Smolen's running away. We can talk about a little bit about the maneuverability. What are the pros that I like about the Gdansk? You see the maneuverability right there. The start-stop feature is pretty good. Engine boost helps a little bit more. The turning left and right, it's still a kind of a clunky. I would compare this to maybe almost like a Smallen or Ragnar kind of maneuverability. It's not the greatest, not like the British line I like. I like Daring and Vampire, how they maneuver very, very quick and agile. The turning feels a lot more smooth and quick and responsive. The Gdansk, it just feels like an average destroyer, very kind of sluggish. It feels like a large destroyer, but it pretty much kind of is, because what you're asking for here is you've got, if I had to sum up the Gdansk, it's a hybrid of everything. It's got gun power. It's got like a Kleber guns, right? Very big guns. 4 sets of them, which is really good. Torpedoes. It's like kind of like almost the Holland and Smallen kind of torpedoes, but without the range. There's only 10 kilometers, but they're quick. They're fast. 86 knots, you can see right there. Quick torpedoes, low hitting, good reload. It's got smoke. If you want smoke, they're very good for, hey, I want to get out of Dodge or cover my tracks or even farm, right? I don't really like farming these days, but you can really do some damage farming in the Gdansk. And you have the radar right here. 9-kilometer radar you saw right there. 57-second if you build for it. Reload time, which means that you are getting a very, very quick radar. So instead of having quick reloading smokes, you have quick radar, which is very devastating, because after you pop it, even though it lasts only 12 seconds, the way I built for it, 10 seconds for base, 12 seconds for the extra build that you'll see at the end of the games. But since they're only quick reloads and pop, I just need that radar to pop, to expose somebody, boom, right away, and I got him, and I'm going to start opening up. Now, the decision the bad guy has to make is, does he want to return fire and expose his position, because he doesn't realize that my radar only lasts 12 kilometers. Here's a good shot of the torpedoes right here, right at the gross curvers, and again, the cool thing about the smoke and radar combination is it's a very, very, very deadly combo. Just like in the USS Black, you can sit in smoke and radar anybody within your range and just kind of farm from smoke and be almost immune to it unless there's another radar cruiser in the view. Now, watch, we're going to see if we can take on the Napoli right here. Now, our concealment solving is 7.2. Now, you got to understand that 7.2 is in the very, very egregious, even worse than the Marceau. Marceau can get it down to 7. But this is the reason why we have the smoke. The smoke gives the ability to actually conceal your position when you make a mistake or do something like this. So I'm going to pop smoke. I'm not going to mess around with the Napoli secondary sap shells. They're very deadly. And I've only got 10,000 health left, so we're going to pop smoke right here. If he goes undetected, guess what? We got the radar. So he goes undetected. Boom, we pop the radar. And look, we're still firing on him. He can't see us. That's the advantage of having smoke radar. It's a deadly combo. I think some people want to quote it as overpowered or something broken in the game. Honestly, I think this is just the way the meta is these days. You're in smoke, you got radar. Oh well, I mean, either giving one ship all of it all together, or you're going to use it with a combo with a teammate. So people are just going to have to get over that. The good thing is, to balance it out, it's only a 12-second radar, which is okay. So right now you can see right there, we got a fire going on the Napoli, which this thing starts fires like crazy. I think the fire chance on this thing is 10%, which is very, very high. You start building flags and everything in for it, you can get it up to the teens of fire chance, which is awesome. And the DPM reload you saw, really, really good. I mean, the base reload is 3.7, but you know how the way I build it. I build it for fast reloading guns, gunboat build. You are seeing that you can get this thing down to the 3 second, maybe even 2 seconds with adrenaline rush kicking in. Very, very quick, very, very awesome gun. So I would say the biggest power of this thing is the ability to pop radar and just start opening up and start farming and getting those guns onto target, and you're starting to get those alpha damage right down the middle right there. So it is a seriously powerful, powerful ship. Again, if I had to sum all this up, the hybrid is you're combining the torpedoes of a Holland, you're combining the radar of a Smallen, you got the guns of a Kleber, you got the speed of Marceau and Kleber, you got the armor maybe up into 24,000 range, 24,000 range. I mean, it's pretty high up there. Especially you can build this up maybe even more if you wanted to, just up to the 27,000 range. So you're getting high HP of that, of heavier like druids, or maybe I want to say Ragnar kind of levels of. I mean, you are literally squishing all the European destroyers into one, with an addition of the speed of Marceau and Kleber and Mogador. This is a monster. I'm telling you, I definitely would recommend. I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. I definitely recommend anybody that's a DD main get this ship. You will so enjoy it, not regret it. As long as they keep it the way it's built right now, I think it's not overpowered, it's not overdone. It's kind of pretty well balanced, because I've died a couple times playing the Gdansk for the first night, and I'm saying I had some of the best games I've ever had in a destroyer, and they're really fun. It's really, really enjoyable. That's the number one thing. Are you having fun? Gdansk is a fun destroyer with balance in it because it is not invulnerable. It still can sink. It still has to dodge and juke and avoid everything that you have to, all the threats that you have out there. You're going to see in a later video dealing with submarines is pretty kind of difficult, but still manageable with the speed. But the other downsides, let's talk about some of the downsides. Now, the gun angles, I'm not too much of a fan of, but they're still okay. It's still 43 degrees that you have to expose your entire ship in order to get all 4 guns on board. But that's still exposing a little bit too much because we are kind of a large, clunky destroyer. So right now we already capped Alpha Charlie. Get back to the video here. You can see what we're going to do right now. See, the small one's running away. He's got us detected if we expose ourselves at 7.3 or 7.2ish right there. So we're going to go ahead and open up anyways. He is going to go undetected probably because he's got what 6.7 or 6.6, depending on how he built it. He probably got a better concealment than we do. And boom, splash 2. I repeat back to 40. We kill literally the majority of the people on the Alpha side right here, and that is how you remove easy destroyers because these gun angles and arcs and sigmas are so great and the guns are huge. Nobody can really withstand the power of the Gdansk guns right there, especially the reloads there you saw. Really, really incredible. But getting back to what I was talking about right now, you got a lot of good advantages. Now, the disadvantages, I was talking about, again, exposing 43 degrees of your ship is not too much what I like. I like to give a little bit better angles if I could. But you see we're exposed right here. I pop smoke so we go undetected because I don't have enough health to support that. And you can see the front-facing guns right there. They're not turning behind me. So therefore, I can tell you right now they are not 360 guns. Only the third turret is. So again, look at those angles. Pretty horrendous. I would say the 43, 45 degree angle is too much exposure of the ship. I would like to see a little bit better, but oh well. We're going to start another fire here on the Napoli. Now here, I'm going to now take this right. Here's where you learn from my mistakes. I did not slow down in time. I had to hit the engine boost. It doesn't slow down very well like I would like it to. Because now I'm still exposed. I was wondering, why is the smoke not covering me? And I just realized the battleship was pushing into me and exposed my weak side right there. I see he can still see me line of sight, and this is where I die because of my foolish buffoonery. There's a thing you can learn from right there of me just sitting outside of my smoke and farming. But you can see right there the potentials, some of the downsides, the angles, the gun angles, and the ability to be too slow at stopping. So there's some of the bad things about it. You're going to see in this video how the AA is trash. Not that I haven't said AA is already trash by itself already. AA is horrendous in this thing. It's surprising with the amount of AA guns you see on the actual model of the ship. You would think it would have better AA, but it doesn't. It really, look at my AAs only goes out to 4 kilometers, and it's continuous damage. There's no flak shells or nothing. It just seems like it's just constant, just continuous damage from little guns, so I don't like that. Trashy AA. I wish it had Holland or maybe even Holland or Smallland kind of levels of AA, but again, I digress. Now, I like the gunboat build because why? I'm now opening up and engaging at 13 to 14 kilometers, which is what you should be doing today. The way I play is I want to scare the crap out of the cruisers. Make them think twice before they rush in with their radar. And I'm going to see, I've already stopped this Donskoy in his tracks. He's going like, okay, I'm not messing with this. I'm getting burned down. I don't know why this destroyer can reach out and touch me, but he is. Now, we also focus, again, always head on a swivel. Notice what your teammates are doing. They're calling for shots on the El Cantones, which is the tier 9 version of me. I played that earlier. I don't like it. I think the El Cantones is trash. There you go. I've said it. Just look at the firepower he's got versus mine. There's no way. The tier 10 is way more fun. Tier 9 stinks because it's just not built the same. And he goes down right there, right off the bat. Not a very good ship in tier 9. I say the Friesland could take it on, even no doubt, a lot better. So, yeah, I don't recommend the El Cantones, but I do recommend the Gdansk. We've got torpedoes from the submarine. We have a submarine at Alpha Cap, and I can see on the mini-map radar there, I can see, okay, there he is. I know where the submarine's at. I'm waiting for the other battleship and cruiser to move out of Alpha Cap to give me a little bit more advantage to push in. So that's my strategy right here, is to push Alpha, help out my team, continuous to spot, and also provide torpedo and gun firepower for this team, because it doesn't seem like many people are firing at Alpha Cap. They're firing shells every 25, 30 seconds, which is not good alpha damage. When you have, look at the enemy team. Look, they're constantly firing in unison. They're getting a lot more damage downrange. That means we as a destroyer gunboat have to come in and pick up and provide that extra alpha damage. Now, again, what did I say? The alpha damage for for the Gdansk is 227,000 HE damage, which is pretty cool. Now, that's another downside. There's no AP shells talking about that. There's only HE shells, so you're going to have to deal with it and just hope that, hey, your HE shell damage is good. But again, I've said these guns are incredible. 227,000 DPM is pretty wild, especially for the way I've built it. Pretty good, and you got decent torpedoes. The only downside, again, I've always talked about is 7.3 detection. 7.3, 2-ish, 3-ish. 7.3 is the detection range of concealment if you build down for it. If you don't build down for it, you're going to get up to the Kleber ranges of 8.2. I think Kleber goes out to maybe 9, and Khabarovsk goes out to 8.5 or 9, something like that. It's just something horrendous because you got a lot of destroyers, especially Shimakaze getting down to 5.4 or 5.6, Gearing getting down to 5.6 and 8. Around those numbers right there, and you've got an 8-kilometer detection. I mean, think about it. You got to drive in around 3 kilometers, and that could take an eternity for you, especially getting shot at. So I don't like the concealment, but you know what? We mitigate that as best we can with the gunpowder, having our guns reach out a little bit longer. It means we're more of a standoff destroyer, more of a gunboat. We are not a torpedo destroyer. We just have them as a kind of a nicety, just to deter ships that are rushing into us. But again, I focus more on the guns. Now, look at this. This is another gripe I have about submarines. There's no counterplay with the submarine right now because all I can do is just drive my ship. Literally, think about it. What other aspect in this game where you actually have to be on top of something in order to make use of your weapons? I mean, I'm not going to talk about carriers. This game is called World of Warships, not carriers, right? So airplanes is not part of this game. But as another ship, do I drive my battleship over a cruiser or destroyer in order to kill it besides ramming it? I mean, that is not part of the gameplay. I don't think it's fun. Do you see any cruisers actually driving over a destroyer in order to kill it? No, they're more using guns and standoff ranges, right? But this is ridiculous. Why do I have to drive over a target just to use my weapons when the submarine can fire from long distance and use homing torpedoes? And look, I have no way to determine where this guy is coming from. Like, what is the counterplay? I have no sonar, I have no hydro, I have no... even my radar doesn't detect him. So the only way I spotted him is because he was within range that he had to ascend back up to a depth where, I mean, is within the detection range of his submarine. And now, look, I can't even engage him. Like, if I wanted to fire my guns at him, you see the X next to his name? That means he's below water to the point where shells don't go below water. Another ridiculous counter move, and destroyers don't have these ASW airplanes that can drop torpedoes on them. So, look, I have to literally, like, leave everything that I'm doing right now. My role as a destroyer is to do everything, and now I have to leave the battle in order to go chase this submarine down. Yeah, and he's got oil slicks on top that show these damage, but I still have to drive over top of him in order to effectively use my weapons. Now, look at this. I'm right next to him. Now, I literally have to park my ship over top of him, and God forbid if he actually hits my ship, I die, and if he rams me. But that's the stupidest part of the game I've ever seen in my life. I think this is not... submarines are dumb for the game, and it should not be recommended for any use, or maybe in a separate battle mode. But for what we're trying to play here is just artillery shooting ships. That's it. Not this ridiculous... You see what I'm doing right here. He's hugging the map now. Cool. And I'm just sitting here dropping every single thing I have, and my guns were slow turning. I don't know why that is, but I tried to shoot him. But there, we finally get him. And that felt satisfying. But look where I'm at right now on the map. I'm in the J line. I literally had to run away from everything, drop what I was doing, and literally try to chase down this thing in order to figure out how to kill it. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Again, are submarines still viable in this thing, or do they belong in their own little mode? Because I think this is dumb. The fact that what I had to do right there just displays why that doesn't make the game enjoyable. Because everything is in favor of the submarine and nothing's in favor of any of the ships, right, that you just saw right there. And literally, let's say I didn't chase the submarine. He would have had full autonomy to move all over the map, underwater, has a better concealment than I do as any destroyer out there. So I feel like that the submarine is the new destroyer with the capability of just going stealth mode, undetected, be like a UFO, and just disappear. I just don't think that's realistic for a World War II game. Anyways, I digress. If you want to play submarines, go play Silent Hunter or something, okay? This is not the platform for it. So let's go back into the Gdansk. That was my rant. The Gdansk, again, definitely recommend. Awesome ship. As you can see right there, 24,000 right now, damage right now so far in the game. pretty much we've got this game in the bag. Alpha and Charlie Cap were taken. Bravo is contested, and we don't really care about it because we've got the points, we've got the kills. Look, I mean, a lot of these games are going to be like rollovers, and you can see as a destroyer player, and let's talk about destroyer tactics roles. You saw what I did there at Alpha Cap. Alpha Cap, I was destroyers. I did literally everything I could. All my roles satisfied. I went and supported this other submarine, if you want to call it. I don't really care about submarines, but I had to support my other teammate at Alpha. I was spotting at Alpha. I was providing torpedo and gunpowder at Alpha. I had smoke if I had to enable to do it, if I had the capability of doing that or using it for others. And then I also had to kill other destroyers or even attack the submarines for right now, because who else is going to attack the submarines besides the battleship? Because he can't really spot or see, and his ASW is also sometimes out of range. And now I'm also providing, as you can see, one of my roles is a gunboat DD. Start fires. Start putting some fire down on this thing. Distract them from shooting anybody else. I mean, I'm the biggest distraction on the map right now. Because look, only my shells are hitting the target constantly. So he's going, this Hanover, a tier 11 super ship, is going to turn his guns and fire at me rather than fire at anyone else. You can see that, look, his guns are literally, look at his front two turrets. They're slowly turning towards me. He fired, I get it, but he just kind of is slowly angling towards me. He's got his secondaries obviously on me. I start a fire. He's going, who is the biggest threat to me right now? Not the carrier, not the battleship Soyuz, but look, he's swinging his guns at me, and he's going to actually take a shot at me, and you're going to notice that. And that's exactly what you want to do as a destroyer. You want to be the loudest thing on the map because you're harder to hit. And even though I'm harder to hit, they'll still take a shot at you. That tells you how much value that you add to the playing field. Look at that. He fired at me. He's only got 4 shells. He fired at me, and he actually hit me. I can't believe that. There's something weird about these Sigmas these days for them to be able to hit these destroyers. Or people are just getting better at aim. I don't know. You tell me. Right now, we're going to see if we can continuously start fires. He's constantly, I think he's flooding right now. He fired his back 2 guns, and we kill him. We just killed a super ship right there, ladies and gentlemen, and he still hit us for some damage. He's got some big guns, but that is exactly what you want to do right there. Rather than focus on the submarine, rather than focus on the Soviet Soyuz next to me, rather than focus on the Montana, I was the loudest person on the map, and that's thanks to the Gdansk, the speed, the guns, the threat. You got everything at your disposal to be an effective destroyer player right then and there. Now, we pretty much have this game won, as you can see, 3 caps with our 90 points left. So I'm just kind of having fun right here. So I just want to show you the gunpowder of this thing, what it can do. Look at the numbers below my shells, or above my shells. 2.4 second reload. That is insane for 4-gun destroyer gun build. And look at that. Look at the firepower of the rain. And then guess what? The Minnesota shoots at me again. Look at it. All their battleships are shooting at me. The one little destroyer player who adds no value to their points. I'm literally, instead of focusing on any kind of objectives or anything else, they're all going to focus on me. So who is the loudest player on the field right now? The destroyer player. That's exactly why I encourage people to play destroyers more. Gdansk is a great addition. I really encourage that. The fact that you're providing this much firepower, this much noise. Look at that. We're shooting at him, and we're taking a lot of good, nice, juicy chunk damage. Now, here's the one gripe I have about here. You're going to see a full display at the negative con side of the Gdansk. There's no AA. I'm telling you. 4 kilometers, the guns don't fire until 4 kilometers out, and you're shooting continuous damage only of about 200 to 300 points on the airplanes. And this, I'm going against a Richthofen. Richthofen's not that great, but look, I'm still firing, and he's got 3 torpedoes off. I don't know why. My ship just didn't run at the time, and I get hit, and boom, I'm dead. My AA is trash. There's the one downside of the GAN. So if you guys don't like AA destroyers, or if you like them, then I encourage you to get something else. But the Gdansk has no AA, but I don't care about the AA. I think it's trash. I like the gunpowder and the reload on the firepower. It is so, so awesome. Definitely recommend. All right, final game right here. We're going to see the full display of what the radar and the guns and the speed, what can do against other destroyers, and how we can eliminate them pretty quickly. Right now at Charlie Cap, we're the one of 2 destroyers that we're going to push it hard. We have the Marceau in range right here. We're going to open up. Here's my counterpart. Now, Mr. Marceau is also my favorite destroyer. It's got kind of the similar setup, 4 guns, speed, but the problem is it doesn't have the smoke, so it can't just go undetected right immediately. So right here, I go undetected. I'm reversing to throw off their shots and make them question. Now, I have to keep it in mind that Marceau has torpedoes, but they're only 9 kilometers. He's within 9, obviously, so I have to be very, very cognizant of a threat right there. So I'm going to angle my ship away. We've already kind of capped Charlie. No, we don't. We don't have capped Charlie, but I have to start angling away from Marceau to avoid the torpedo threat. Keep that in mind. There's always a threat against you when you're in smoke. I don't like smoke farming. It's like a magnet for torpedoes. There goes Marceau. Great job, Shimakaze. It must have been had a lot of help over there. It must have been pretty good comparatively. But right there, we eliminate their destroyer. Now we have full reign. Now you see the power of being a destroyer player. If you are dead on the destroyer side, on the enemy side, or your team, you lose a destroyer, you're pretty much done on that side. If you have no spotting, you have no gun power, you have no other torpedoes capabilities, you pretty much are at a disadvantage without a destroyer. So we eliminate their destroyer. We have the advantage now. Now we're shooting at the Buffalo. Now, I'm not getting a lot of penetration shells right now on the front because obviously only 23 millimeter pin, but we are starting a lot of good fires. Not from me, but maybe from somebody else that started the fire. But we can start a lot of fires with these guns. I know the Buffalo's already on burning, so starting more might be a challenge for me as I'm running away. Again, this is what you want to do. You want to get the FDG. You want to get the Buffalo firing at us rather than rather than our Smolensk or Shimakaze, while the Shimakaze is actually capping. Our Schlieffen's moving in, so it's kind of giving them a second thought about pushing it heavy. Now watch this. Watch the full gun power of this thing unload on the FDG right here. Now we're going to slow down and start jinking and juking and dodging shells. Again, the Gdansk is powerful at this right here. So we are literally shooting at about a 10-kilometer range, which is still pretty close within the secondary range, so he might not be a secondary build. He's not really shooting at me. So I've got a good... Now, I'm getting fired at from the Buffalo as well, so we've got to keep moving a little bit. Always continuously move and become a mobile target. Don't sit still and make it easy on the enemy. Now, look at all the DPM we're getting right now. Getting a nice DPM off the FDG. A lot of good factors right there. I think that, man, look at that. There's a fire right there. Again, the firepower on the Gdansk is totally awesome. If you're going to do some of the firepower that we're doing right here at Alpha, our Shimakaze has to bail out of Charlie, which means we're losing it. I thought we were going to get it, but unfortunately the Buffalo was pushing too hard. Buffalo's now exposing himself. Now, I wish I had AP shells for a broadside cruiser. Unfortunately, we don't. So there's a con right there. You can see that you don't have the ability to maybe pin some nice full broadside ships with AP, but it doesn't matter. We got the HE. We're going to see if we can start some more fires on this thing. Let's see if we can take out the Buffalo. Will this be our kill? Ooh, there's another fire right there. Man, this thing is a good fire starter. And look at that. He's still firing at us. We are a bigger threat to the enemy than everybody else that's firing him. Notice how the Buffalo was firing at us rather than everybody else that was firing and taking the damage off of him. Poor choice on the Buffalo right there making. So, for example, the Marceau should have not have rushed in and had no exit strategy. The Buffalo the same way. Being spotted by a destroyer off in the distance is not a good thing. I don't think the Buffalo player should have parked himself right there. And now we get the kill on the FDG right there. Awesome firepower. Now we're also shooting the Shimakaze. Now 11 kilometers. Look at how the shells are reaching the Shimakaze. Very, very easy to aim, to walk these shells on. And I'm actually getting a nice, I think I do get a hit. There it is. There's a hit to reset him from taking the cap, making him think twice. Now here we go. We're going to go into destroyer killing mode right here, ladies and gentlemen. Here's hunter killer mode, where we're going to actually nose into the target, which alleviates what? Our broadsides that we're getting shot at, and then second is torpedoes. If the Shimakaze decides to throw torpedoes at us, then we will have the ability to mitigate that damage by nosing in and slicing through the torpedoes dispersions. We launch our torpedoes to the left of where we last saw the Shimakaze in case he decides to move forward. Again, well within 10 kilometers, he could potentially run into these things. They're very quick, about 86 knots. Let me double check that for you guys. The torpedoes go... Yeah, 86 knots base. So if you don't build for it, 86 knots is very good. That's another thing I like about it. There he is, right there. Shimakaze exposes himself, and as soon as he goes undetected, we're going to pop the radar. So there's our two avenues of approach. Our exit strategy is to turn away as well as we need to. We're slowly dying here, so we're going to have to pop smoke in the next hit. We'll pop smoke. There it is. We'll pop the smoke right there. We have to literally go undetected. He goes undetected. Oh, I'm sorry. We already lost our radar. I popped him initially to get him going. And that is the fire. That is the technique of literally get spotted immediately, pop radar. So you can reveal the enemy's position, and then the Shimakaze had to make a decision as to whether or not he wanted to open fire, revealing his position, or stay quiet. Again, I only have a 12-second radar, so the Shimakaze literally could have just ran away, kited away, and just waited 12 seconds to go undetected. Unfortunately, look at the firepower we're putting on. This Yamato is just taking a full beating. Look at how much shell damage we're getting there. Look at the firepower. Look at the range. As we're capping, as we're helping spot. I know we're in the smoke. We were spotting earlier. We got the destroyer to run out of dodge to help out our Schlieffen out. We actually take a hit from all those torpedoes there. We weren't expecting that. But anyways, look at the Shimakaze torps were coming. I knew they were. Again, what did I say? Smoke is a magnet for torpedoes. You should be always on the move, moving around the smoke, or at least nosing into the threat of your area. So right now, We're running away, and we're seeing where's... Oh, now look at this. We got the back guns facing the Shimakaze. Look at that. I only got 3 shells going out, but anyways, we're still making hits because it's so easy to aim with these shell angles, and the Sigma of the Gdansk really, really awesome in that regard. I really enjoy that, and look, we're just scaring away the Shimakaze. We're providing too much of a threat, and boom, there you go. Schlieffen gets that nice kill with the secondaries. Great job there, and there's how you secure an entire flank right there with the Gdansk and had the help of one battleship. You notice everybody else ran away from Charlie, but guess what? We stood our ground. We did what we were supposed to do as a destroyer player. We held our ground. We continuously spotted. We provided smoke, torpedoes. We helped cap Charlie, and we also hunted down the destroyer on the enemy team. That is exactly how you become a better destroyer player. You always mitigate the threat, stay out of sitting in smoke, stay away from other torpedoes, come and support your battleship players, and then help your other DDs by killing other DDs as well. Again, that is how you really, really should be a better destroyer player. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up and say what are my final thoughts on the Gdansk. Gdansk is phenomenal. I would really definitely recommend everybody get the Gdansk if you really are a destroyer player. It provides everything you need. Look at the speed right here. We're up to 43.8 knots with the, or 40, man, it's still going up with the engine boost. You got 45 plus knots with engine boost. You have a good health pool, 24,400. You have a 12-second kilometer radar that goes out to 9 kilometers. I haven't seen any destroyers go out that far yet. Correct me if I'm wrong in comments. But yeah, comments, let me know. What do you think about the 9-kilometer, 12-second radar? Really powerful. Starting fires like crazy. Look at the gunpowder reload. Look at Rainbow of Hate right there. That's exactly why I like this ship. It's kind of like a Marceau. That capability right there, again, with 10-kilometer torpedoes going 86 knots, 2 sets of 10. AA, bad. Trash. Concealment, kind of bad. 7.3, trash. I also don't like the depth charges are okay. And the other final thing I don't like is the gun angles. I wish they could be a little bit better, like a Dalarna style, where they get, man, you can get them up to way better than 43 degrees. But anyways, that's my thought on the Gdansk. What do you think in the comments below? Let me know. On our way to 2,000 subscribers for our premium DD giveaway. Can't thank you guys enough. Here comes the build right at you right here. And if you guys want to pause the video, take a look at how I build it. This is the gunboat DD main I usually build for these kind of ships. Protect the guns, extended radar, you can see slot 2, the dispersion aiming, engine boost, concealment, and main battery reload. That's how I normally build my vanilla gunboat DDs. Now, let's go to the commander build. The commander build is pretty much a sacrificing the armor and sacrificing extra heals or smoke or radar. Definitely last stand and incoming fire for good me. Concealment to get it down to the 7.3, otherwise it's an 8, pretty bad. Fielder sprawler, adrenaline rush, and everything else you can see right here is maximizing on the guns. Gun reload rate and range. You want to get that to make it the best possible. I don't need the extra health points because I think 24,400 is pretty good for what I'm doing, as you saw in the last 3 videos. But until then, hope you guys are doing well. Make sure you take the flags on everything and then support the channel by hitting that like, subscribe button below, and appreciate all the support. Until next time, you guys stay safe. Cheers.